First thing I want you to do for me is I want you to practice this. When you see my hand go up, I want you to raise your hand up and shut your mouth. Let's do it. Come on. Okay, that's not too good. Whenever I'm going around, whatever, you may be in the middle of talking to somebody or something, and I need your attention. Thank you all so much. Okay, well, you're getting a little bit better. I think you're still slow. It's early. We'll try it again. And then at your table, tell everybody what your favorite color is, quickly. Okay, the response time is still really slow. I know it's early in the morning, but we'll get a little bit better with it. Again, always when you see my hand go up, shut your mouth and raise your hand. It's real easy, okay? Let's try it again. No, still didn't get you. Tell the table what your favorite food is. Wonderful, wonderful. I love that. That is awesome, awesome. It is very important that we get everybody's attention and ready, especially when we're teaching. We got to have everybody's attention, because if you don't, how can you teach them? You know, we got to have their attention. So, and praise and report is wonderful. You know, we get them in repetition, and we got to do it in practice and practice. That's why it's so important. The first days of school are so important to our procedures. Notice on the board here, I asked you to look at your table and see, there's a starter here. Some of you may have already done this. If you haven't, please do so at this time. Read the starter and complete this assignment.
December 31st. Let somebody learn their birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Will.
Your mom's
Thank you. Now, did any table not get a chance to complete this? Please let me know. Did not get a chance to complete it? Okay, we'll give you a few minutes. See who's number one and who's number two. Thank you all so much. We'll get started here. Okay, today we're going to talk about procedures and everything. We've already established one procedure, right? You're good at that. I'm telling you, look at this. This makes about 7 or 8 times we've done this morning, and you're getting it a lot quicker with it. I appreciate that. You're doing a wonderful job. Responsibilities. If at your table you're number one, now if you don't have 4 people, then we'll repeat it. In other words, if you're number one, you're going to be our timekeeper when we're doing some activities here. That's your responsibility. And don't worry, I think I looked on the schedule, I got 4 hours, so don't worry about it. We're in good shape, okay? Number one, you'll be my timekeeper, so I'll keep it within the 4-hour frame. Number 2 is the person that, if we have questions and I don't get a chance to do them, we have a parking lot. The parking lot's just up here. Put it on post-it note, should have some post-it notes there. Type down, write it down, write out the question, put it up here. We'll take care of it. So number 2 is responsible for bringing up those parking lot questions. Number 3 at your table, you're going to be the monitor. You're going to keep us on track. When it's time to talk about favorite foods, we'll talk about that, not a favorite color. So you'll keep us on the track. So you're the number 3. If you don't have a number 3 at your table, number 1 takes number 3 spot. Number 4, you'll collect the materials. Again, if you don't have a number 4, number 1 will take care of it, or number 2 takes care of it. Just to keep. If you have 5 people at your table, then you're in good shape. Somebody's sitting there without any responsibilities at this time. All right. What I want you to do at this time at the table is think about some procedures that you use and you would like to use. Now, I'm asking you about procedures, and I know you talked about the definition of it, but I just want to give a feel of it and discuss why the procedures are important. I want you to do that. That's my objective today. So take about 60 seconds, that's plenty of time, at your table, discuss about some procedures that you currently use. And if you're a first-year teacher, you're thinking, I haven't used it. But you've seen them used, or would like to use, and why do you think they're important? Give you 60 seconds, go. On your table now, you should see the fryer model. You have procedures in the middle. Do you see the little handout that they gave out? It looks something like this. It's got 4 sections. On the top left side, in your own words, put down the definition of procedure. What do you think procedure means? I've not told you that. You probably know from your own experience. But in your own words, don't Google it. Don't look it up. Just in your own words, tell me what you think procedure means. We're going to talk about something. We got to make sure we understand what it actually means first. Just the top left section. That's all I'm asking you to do. If you don't have one, you let me know and I'll pass them out. Okay, then this is the definition of procedure in your own words. A lot of times the students, I don't know about you all, but students, and even college students, when you ask them to come up with a definition of their own, they're not too keen on sharing that definition because they don't know whether they're right or wrong. I'm not going to ask you to share your definition. You just keep it to yourself. But I will in a few minutes, we'll go back and reflect on it and see. But in your own words, a definition of what you think procedure means to you. And hopefully, by the end of 4 hours, you'll know what that means. They keep looking at me funny when I say 4 hours. I'm looking at the agenda. Let's pretend you was in charge for a day. So you're in charge, only for one day. I tried to do my house. I asked my wife, could I be in charge for one day? And she left it. But if you was in charge for a day, what would you implement or pass a law or policy to improve student achievement in the classroom? You get to do whatever you want. You get to pass a law for one day, but you're hoping that that law or policy you pass should improve student achievement. What would that be? Go on, discuss it.
You speak on keep going. I feel like high school.
About 30 more seconds now. Come on. Any policy, any law, could be anything you want.
I would be, but like that would be my first thing to say. I would make it 100% law day.
Take the last 15 seconds to gather some good ideas so we can report out.
You did the first time.
It's time number 3 at the table will report. Whoever's the number 3, report with the best idea. Thank you all for raising your hands. I appreciate that so much. Let's look at some different tables here. And the 3, I'm kind of curious. My number 3 at this table, what would you do?
Only have 4-day weeks and then later start.
4-day weeks. All right. That's going to improve student achievement.
Remove it with them.
Cell phones. Oh, eliminate cell phones. Ooh, awesome.
Social media.
We're going to do right here. Just a second. Agenda posted every day. 4 days school, no cell phones, agenda posted. Stricter attendance policy. I want to make sure they're here. Yes, Dine, just say it. Go on.
Oh, increase salaries for teachers?
Oh, see, our veteran people say increase salary. Our new ones are like thinking all the other things.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, they're thinking all the other
Yeah.
good stuff.
Veteran people say, oh, you don't know, they got to do this for 30-some years. We gotta get us a little bit more money coming on here. Anybody else got something they would want to do to increase student achievement? The key terms are increased student achievement. What would be?
We thought that if you required every lesson to have engaging strategies.
Wow. That would be
Maybe
good.
like 2 or 3 engagement strategies for every lesson, no matter if you're teaching SEL or behavior or
She's got the
academic.
cliff notes of my answers. She's got the answers.
We also talked about eliciting student response, making sure that we have high levels of student response.
Because the key thing is student achievement. That's what we're looking at. No offense with the other ones. Even if kids came every day to the school, or if we cut it down for 4 days a week, or cut cell phones out, can you ensure student achievement would increase? Even if I paid them $1 million a day, I can't ensure that student achievement would increase. So I have a whole lot more teachers to pick from. The single greatest effect on student learning and achievement is the effectiveness of the teacher. Exactly what they were saying over there. If I really want to improve it, it all falls back to the teacher. There's no secret to that answer. How classroom goes is how the teacher goes. That's the bottom line. If I want to improve student achievement, first I have to improve myself. That's it. I don't care if you've been teaching 30 years or this is your first year. You think about that. Wow. That's powerful right there. We can stop right there and give it an amen and stop. But let's go on. Today, when you go to PD days, and you'll be to many of them, some of you it's your first year. If I ask some of these veteran people how many they did to, don't dare, okay. When you go to a PD, this is my philosophy, and I'd say to all the teachers, learn at least one thing at each PD session and try to implement it. At least one thing, whether you do anything else today or not, try to pick at least one thing you really like and say, I'm going to implement that. So try to do that as you're going out through today. A lot of people think classroom reduction, we hear it a lot. In 2007, they did a study, it was 8% percentile gain. Effective teachers, when they trained and got effective teachers training, which is why you're here today, it was a 30 percentile gain. So the more trainings you go to and effective trainings, as a study done in 2007, I'd say still good today, but that's how student achievement improved. That's just not me saying it, that's from scientific research. But they put it out and said, this really works. Train your teachers, student achievement will get better. Now, efficient is doing things right. Effective, we keep saying effective teachers, that's doing things right consistently. So we need to make sure we know those terms. I can do things right, but if I even do them every other day, it's not. I'm not an effective teacher. I'm efficient sometimes, but I'm not effective. There's 3 characteristics we'll get into. And the first one has a positive experience with student success. Hope I don't mess up this microphone. My wife will kill me if I do this. This is a $20 bill. Would someone like to have this $20 bill? No strings attached. Would someone like to have this? Thank you for raising. Anybody else would want the $20 bill? Only one person wants it? Anybody else wants the 20? No strings attached. Anybody want it? Can I see the hands of who would take this $20 bill if I give it to you? Is anybody? If you don't raise your hand, you got a lot more money than I do. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna wad it up. Hold your hands up if you still want the $20 bill. But I'm wadding it up. What? I'm gonna throw it on the floor. I don't jump up and get it. I haven't given it away yet. I'm just gonna put it on this old nasty floor. Raise your hand up if you still want it. Raise your hand up if you still want it. You almost made me step on it. Whoops, I did. I stepped on it. My old nasty shoe stepped on it. Raise your hand if you still want it.
It still stands.
Why do you still want it?
It's still worth it.
Value. It's still worth something, right? Yep. That's what your kids are in their classroom. I don't care what they've been through with. Don't care what they're wearing, they're still worth it, aren't they?
Yes.
Wow, I don't get anything else out there. At least I know the kids are worth it, right? No, I didn't give them a $20 bill when I got a kid in college. Let me go back here to positive attitude. It's so important. Let me tell you a story. We got time for a story, don't we? What time is it?
About 4 hours.
We got 4 hours, thank you. Yeah, I got 4 hours. Flash smart. Tell you a story. As this teacher once, she always complained about having the worst kids. Now I gotta be careful because Denny Paul's here, his wife was one of my teachers. It wasn't hers. Let me take this as a disclaimer. Always complain about getting the worst kids. And I mean IQ-wise. Always get the bottom of the barrel. It's a so-and-so always gets the top ones, and I always get the bottom ones because I'm the new teacher. One year, the teacher looked at the list of students, and beside it had these numbers. Now, the average IQ is 100. Had these numbers beside the list of her roster. She'd been complaining, and the principal said, I hear your complaints. So she saw the list of her students, and beside each 100, 101, 102, 103, all the way down to 120. She said, it's about time. Average IQs, at least I get above average students. I'm going to do pretty good this year for these kids. So she worked hard. Their scores improved tremendously. Principal came to her and said, you did a really good job with the students this year. You had worked with it, and I'm really proud to see the progress you make with these students. She said, I told you all along, all you do is give me really smart students. I can do this. He said, what are you talking about? She said, you divided them up, and right beside their names was their IQs. I said, that wasn't their IQs, that was the locker numbers. Expectations. What do you expect of your students? That's what you'll get. Expectations. Be extremely good classroom manager. Classroom management is very important. We've got to organize it. The purpose of it is we've got to organize it. So students know what to do, what to learn, how to do it, how to succeed. Here's some characteristics of a well-managed classroom. Some of this you mentioned over here at the table. High level of student engagement. If you have a well-organized classroom, you'll have student engagement, high student engagement. Students will know what is expected of them. There's a little wasted time, a little confusion, and everything is work-oriented, but it's relaxed. It's a pleasant environment. We're working, but it's pleasant. We enjoy to be there. You ever get in a classroom you just can't wait to the bell rings? Yeah, I couldn't wait to get with those kids. No. You get in those classrooms, don't you? As a student, I've been in many of those. I've been in observing classrooms. Believe me, I observe classrooms all the time. I can't wait till they're over. And I only have to be there for 45 minutes to 60 minutes. I can't imagine those kids being there all day in this. I mean, it's truly, but it's got to be a pleasant atmosphere. You've got to enjoy to go there. Make it worthwhile. I hate the PD teachers that come, the teachers coming to PD and they say, okay, today's day 1. I got 184 more days to go. Oh my gosh, going to retire now. If that's what you're looking at. Here's the most important words when you're doing classroom management. It may be redundant, but plan and prepare. Plan and prepare the classroom, the floor space, where you want the desk to sit at. Do that. Don't wait till day 1 and do it. Do that. Plan and prepare your teacher areas, where you want to teach at, where you're going to be at. Your teaching materials. Most importantly, plan and prepare yourself. Be ready for it. Be ready for the first day. You'll never get another first day. My kindergarten teacher, you'll never get another first day of kindergarten. My first grade teacher, you'll never get another first day. My middle school teacher, my 7th, you'll never get another first day of 7th grade. Whenever the first day comes, that's it. That's the first day. Enjoy it. Plan for it. Be ready. Smile. Hey, smile. Repetition is the key. For a child to learn something new, they need to repeat it an average of 8 times. Us adults need to have things repeated too, don't we? How many times did we do that exercise till we got it down? 8 times on something new. here's the key thing. My kindergarten teachers, back where that, they would laugh at me. They teach the kids how to make their letters. And they would laugh and come, some of them would say, I hope that the parents would not teach them how to make their letters if they're doing it incorrectly. It's so much harder to teach a kid how to make a letter if for the last few years they've been doing it the wrong way. Now that might sound minute to you, but look at it. For a child to learn that O behavior, you have to do it 28 times. You have to do it 20 times to break the O behavior, and then 8 new times to get the new repetition in. You think about writing the J's or the K's or printing those out for the kindergarten students coming in. If a parent taught them the wrong way to do that, the kindergarten teacher has to go through and teach them that 28 times, where a kid is not being exposed to it. Now, if it's taught the right way, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. But that's just one extreme example. So if you get into classrooms and you say, I started here in January, this is my first year about to start in January, there probably was some old behaviors that you really didn't like that the classroom was doing. You say, I want to change that. It took a while to do it. But now, if you start the first of the year up, 8 repetitions, you can get that. So for those that started in January, February, some of you, when I talk to you today, I started in March, I started in April. There are probably some behaviors and some patterns that you didn't like. Well, now's the time. The first days of school is so important. As a principal, I tell my teachers, there's 2 things I want you to do today. I want you to feed them and make sure they get home. And then do all your procedures. Don't worry about teaching anything the first day of school. I don't care if you teach them any content. And I'm not your principal. But if I was, I'd say, don't worry about teaching any content. Just work on procedures. Let's get them. Let's get them see if they know how to walk down the hall. Now for elementary, I'm going to catch a bubble in my mouth. I'm going to make a bunny tail. And I'm going to walk on marshmallow feet. You think that's funny, but it's true. I'm going to have my kindergarten kids, my first grade kids, my second grade kids, my third grade kids coming from PE. I'm going to have them walking up and down how to enter my room, how to exit my room. What to expect when they come in my room, where my starter, where my agendas are going to be at. This is what I expect. This is how I expect you to come in my room. If you come into my room late, this is what I want you to do. It's your classroom. You've got to set those procedures up, but you need to set those and think about what procedures do I want, and establish those and do those routines. And keep doing them over and over again. It'll make your life so much easier. You'll enjoy Christmas so much better. Because if not, you will be coming back at Christmas. You'll say, oh my gosh, I got to go back to this in January. Work on the procedures at least the first 2 weeks, if not 4 weeks of school. Keep working on them, but really work on those first few days and weeks of it. Don't worry about teaching content. I'm telling you. Now, behind me, they may be saying some other things, but I'm telling you, don't worry about content or time. I can teach you content if I can get you to come in and know my routines, know my procedures, know where the agenda's at, know where the starters are at. A procedure is a routine that students do repeatedly without any prompting or supervision. It's not a rule. A procedure is definitely not a rule. Now, a rule is the classroom management is based on procedures, but procedures are not rules. Rules, when you break something, I got a consequence. This is what you get for it. You get caught smoking in the bathroom, you broke a rule. Okay? If you skip my class, you broke a rule of skipping. It's part of it. But the way you come into my classroom is a procedure. Okay? You get up and slap a kid in the face, you broke a rule. That's not a procedure, you broke a rule. If you're still talking while I raise my hand, then that was a procedure you didn't follow. And I want to do this. Let's do this as an experiment. Let's let this table talk for a minute. And what I want us to do when I raise my hand, and this is the difference between a procedure and a rule. I want to give us all talk, we'll discuss something. But when I raise my hand, I want y'all to continue to talk. Just take it on. Just for a few minutes, okay? And I want my extra classmates here, all my classmates, to remind them to stop talking. Obviously be polite. So when they remind you, let's see what happens. See how that pressure feels about you. Now you already know what's going on. So let's just see how it makes you feel. And I'm going to talk to you the difference about a procedure and a rule, okay? Now, a rule, obviously, if you get up and you start shouting, calling people's names, you broke a rule. There'll be consequences for this. This is a procedure that they didn't follow. Let's see what happens with that. Let's look know the difference between procedures and rules, because that's very important. So at this time, I want you to talk to your people at your table. What is your favorite activity that you like to do as far as relaxation? Whether it's read a book, go to church, Bible study, fishing, hunting, whatever it is. Talk to that at your table. Take about 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, wouldn't we all?
I visit the big place tonight. My guy, I'm telling my name.
I'm probably just going to have to go.
That's great. How's your doctor?
Insulated roofs, rock floors. Been doing a lot of things lately with it. Just can't seem to get it down, but every day I work a little bit more.
How did it make you all feel that they kept on talking? Did you notice they still fighting down anyway? Why did you not keep on talking a lot? You tried to. They wouldn't help you out, but why?
No, they wouldn't for me
Why?
because it looked like it was the norm. Everybody else was doing it. We were supposed to do it, so we did.
Procedures the same way. Thank you. That's awesome. If I'd have told you before to say that answer, you would have said it. It was the norm.
But I tried my best.
You really tried. You tried to go on. But it made you feel uncomfortable that you didn't do what everybody else was doing, did it not?
No.
That's the same way if you establish procedures and everybody knows it. And they kept looking at me like, how you looking at me like, oh, they're still talking. And then it's so amazing how classmates will help out other classmates say, shh. You ever been in a classroom that says, shh? It works. It really does. You all are adults and it works. Here's some procedures that will benefit students. List them down, okay? And you'll get this PowerPoint. You don't have to worry about writing this down. This PowerPoint, Ms. Guthrie told me I'll email it there. You get the PowerPoint if you want it. You sell it for $5 on eBay. No. How to enter the classroom. That's an important procedure. Day one, teach the students how to enter the classroom. If it's the gym, teach them how you want them to enter the gym. That's so important. Do it day one so you don't have to do it day 101. How do you want students to enter your classroom? Right now, how do you want students to enter your classroom? You might say, well, I'm self-contained. They'll still enter your classroom because they go to break, they go to lunch, and they go to PE, they go to special classes. They'll still be entering your classroom. How do you want them to enter your classroom? That's not a rule now. That's not for running down the hall. If you're running down the hall, that's a rule. I'm going to break. This is what you get a punishment. But the procedure is not a rule. The procedure is, this is what I expect out of you, how to walk and how to enter my classroom. It's not a rule. It's a procedure. This is what I expect out of you. What do you do when you enter the classroom? Do you have students that come in late or tardy? They need to know what to do when they come in late and tardy. When I'm up teaching, you just come on in quietly, get your backpack away, come to your seat. You want to come, hey, I'm here! Now my bus is late. I'm glad. You don't want them to do that, do you? They will. Teach them procedures. What they do if they're tardy. Where did they find their assignment? Do you have a special spot on the board that even if they come in late, they can look up and see what the assignment is for the day? Or if they was called out, they can see their assignment for the day. If they need what you do, if you need their attention, the same thing the other way. How's the paper to be done? Any of the procedures or those? Good more comments. I'm going to look and see what time it is. Am I running out? On the top right section, go to the phrase model. Now at this time, put down some facts and characteristics about procedures. We talked about procedures. What some facts and characteristics you can say about procedures? Take about 60 seconds. Jot those down. Feel free to share with your table if you need some help. We talked about some facts, characteristics of procedures. Write some down. Feel free to discuss at your table if you need some help. 30 more seconds, facts and characteristics section. I am going to ask the couple to share out some, since it's not created on your own. All you have to do is the top right section only. Don't have to do any examples at this time. About 15 more seconds to finish up. Since I didn't hear a lot of discussion, I want to give you 15 to 30 seconds to discuss at your table some facts and characteristics that you wrote down. Please share them with your friends here. I'm going to ask for a star from your table that gave some really good facts and characteristics. So listen to everybody's ideas, and then I want you to decide who's the star at your table. Give me a star at your table.
You that said that earlier.
10 more seconds. Please share your facts and characteristics. Come up with the star. You did a really good job with some facts and characteristics at your table that you would like for them to share. Your arms will be sore by the end of the day, I know. Okay, at your table, if you will please, have a star to stand up. If you nominated as a star, please. And if you don't, I'm going to have everybody at the table stand up. So get a star at the table to stand up. These are our stars at our table. This is so cool, I love this. These are the people that have some really good facts and characteristics. Now, stars are really bright. So what I want you to do, I want my stars to go across this galaxy room. Now, these are called my shooting stars. And I want you to travel to another table and share this information. So you can't go to your tables. My shooting stars, go. Shoot somewhere else. Go.
Furious.
I'll go this table.
Shooting stars, go to another table and share. They share with each other, go to another table.
Flexible on set
Share.
during the evening, an easy way for me to have them spikes in. I feel like
Oh, yeah, for sure.
connection.
I like the flexible part, that's what I was thinking about, but that's killer.
And
Okay, now my shooting stars, make one more visit for me. Go to one more different table. Go. One more friend.
doing good.
We sent that.
Senior hot rules and their official. That's an everyday procedure. They're established
Being able to easily understand. Know about, like, thinking about it, automatic. That was something that I put. So many others you could add to it.
Okay, shooting stars, you can return back to your home base if you want to. Thank you all very much. This little procedure, what did you think about it? A lot of times we report out the whole group. What do you like about this one? Pros, cons, what? It's a little procedure we do to share information.
Goes up in the seats.
Different ideas? Got to move around. That's important, isn't it? We said for a while, you need to get up and
If
move
you're a
around.
star, that is.
If you're a star, right? If you're not, you need to work on being a star the next time, right? Here's an example of procedure I want you to look at. Think about when you was in high school, maybe middle school. You had those old combination locks. It's almost prehistoric now. We're in the time now we don't know what combination locks are. But for you all, you old people, no, I'm talking about you all. I'm talking about these down here. Because you're the old people. You say, well, this is my first year teaching, my second. You're old people compared to your students, okay? You know what a combination lock are, these little ones don't know that you get ready to teach. Now, we're ancient people, we're not old. But you old people, I want you to explain to me how to work this combination lock. Go to it. Talk. You're going to explain to me how to work combination lock.
I know you like right 3 times. Then you stop the first number, then go back. Clear it,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. All right. I don't have to have we done that today, but I appreciate that. Did you go left or right first? Right? Somebody tell me a procedure. I'll pick on you. You said pick on me. I have to, as you said. How do we open a combination lock?
Well, you have 3 numbers,
Got 3 numbers.
and you're gonna get your lock, you're gonna turn it to the right all the way around first and stop on your number. And you're gonna turn it to the left, making sure that you're passing 0. And you stop on your second number, and you're gonna go back to the right and stop on your third number immediately when you see it. The arrow at the top of that, that's the order. The little down top. And you're gonna pop the lock.
Anybody else, anything you want to add, edit? Anybody else, we just afraid to? Do we have to turn back later after I do that third number? Just stop.
And what I taught my kids was 3, 2, 1. So 3 times to the right, they stop at the number with the arrow. 2 times back to the left, they stop, and then 1 back to the right.
Well, she's got this procedure down. What do you teach?
I taught math.
Taught math. Really had good math. Did it matter the order that I put those numbers in? Yeah, it did.
Yes.
You know, really, it should be called permutation lock, not combination lock. But we'll get into that at different maths. So order mattered. Also, the procedure mattered as far as putting and turning those and passing the numbers. That's a procedure. And if you didn't do the procedure correctly, it didn't work, did it? That's the same thing with on procedures. Think about the class procedures that you do in your classroom. And you may not think of them, but you might say, well, I've not been in the classroom. And then there's some procedures that are school-wide or grade level. What's some school-wide procedures that are that you can think of?
Walking in the hallway quietly.
Walk in the hallway quietly. It's usually a school-wide procedure to do those. Some schools have, some may not. What's another school-wide procedure that we do? Morning routine.
Entering the building.
Entering the building. How about bus duty? Usually dismissal. Lunchroom. Snack time. So I'll have a routine, a procedure. This is where you go to get your snacks. This is what you do after you get your snacks. This is where you need to go to. That's a school-wide procedure. A classroom procedure is more to you, what you want. I want kids to do. This is how I want to do. You know, you said walking down the hall a certain way, but you may have a little bit more that you want them to do, just to add a little bit to it. Not to take away, but add to it. Here are some possible procedures we mentioned earlier. Entering and exiting the classroom, even turning in assignments. I'm trying to give you a lot of ideas. We sit in listening, but I want you to share, I want you to think about some of these. I'm going to leave this on the board. We want to have a little quick discussion. Turning in assignments, bell work, use of technology, transition. Now, use of technology. When I first got here, I tried to introduce myself. Aiden and Alex, and they confused me. I was talking to Alex, and he had on this maroon shirt. I want to know the technology people. And then I turned around, and he's got glasses on and got a different shirt on. And it's his twin brother Aiden, and I'm thinking I lost my mind. And they really mess with my mind. No technology, if you don't, you got to know the procedure. So my procedure was when I came in here, I have a PowerPoint. I want to get to the technology person, introduce myself, admit that this is a PowerPoint. Hopefully it works. If it don't, I'll email it to myself. But that was my procedure. But Hayden and Alex threw me for a loop because I really thought I messed up. Transitions and moving in the classroom, make sure you have a procedure for that. How do you want kids to go from center to center? It's so important. Sharpening a pencil can annoy you to death. You think I'm joking, but it can. My math teacher back there, it can annoy you to death when I'm sharpening a pencil. I'm right in the middle of building a quadratic equation. You got to get up and sharpen a pencil. Come on. I have a procedure for that. If you have a basket of pencils, you'll have to replenish by the end of the week. But whatever procedure you have that procedure. Whatever you have it. Mechanical pencils, I love them. All except for the part that they run out of lead real quick. But they don't have to sharpen pencils anymore. Getting supplies. Even going to the restroom. Have a procedure. Some of that's school-wide. You have to sign out, you have to do this. I have some of the different ones that they do. Some of it's just a classroom. So find out if your school has a policy or we need to do that. These are important policies. What I want you to do on the back of that sheet there, for my new teachers, I want you to write you down a homework list. Write down some procedures that you want to start from day one. Now this is from 3 and under group, 3 years and less. Write down some procedures that you want to start implementing day one. Now you have to come up with what works for you. I can't sit here and say I can give you some examples of procedures of how we want them to enter and exit the classroom. How do you want them to enter in your classroom environment? Do you wait on them at the front door as they come in the classroom and greet them? Which I would. How do you want them to enter? Don't worry about listing all these down. You won't get the PowerPoint. But think about procedures of this list that you want to implement. Just the ones that you want to implement. This is your homework I want you to have done by day one. Think about what you want. Again, don't worry about the PowerPoint. It'll be on the folder. I'll send it to Ms. Belcher, and Ms. Belcher, she'll have it. She'll put it on for you to refer back to. But by listening today, this morning, what's the procedures that you think that I want to implement? Now the next part of this, after you listen, is come up with a good procedure for that. Whatever that may be. We can talk. Don't be afraid to look around for help. You got people in that school, you got people on those, you got people right here today. This is a great opportunity to network. Talk to people today. Throughout the break today, hey, I was thinking about this procedure. Have you got any ideas? Did you see all this? Or what do you do about kids getting up and sharpening a pencil? Well, how do you handle that? Take care of every procedure. Now, I can ask my veteran people that's been here a while. They'll aim me as far as saying it's really important, even the minute detail, to get a procedure established for that. If it drives you crazy, you're very fortunate if you got to go sub or be in a room in February or January or what. If you got to do that, then you're very fortunate to do that because you got to say, well, I don't know if I can handle that for a whole year. I want to do this when I start off my year in August. I'm going to call on Mrs. Belcher. I'll call on Ms. Francis in a minute. Ms. Belcher, what's one procedure you did in your classroom that you just love to do that you did in your classroom?
I have to admit, it was bell work, bell ringer, whatever you would call it, but they always had something that was on the board that it may have been a question. I was a science teacher, sometimes it was prepping to get ready for lab, but it was always they knew to go look and that they had what they needed to do to start our class.
And we had a starter today, didn't we? It's always one. Just French, what's a procedure that you just love doing these days?
Well, I was before Bill worked, so it was, they come in, they get their materials, and if they didn't get their homework, they just really need to do an assignment, they can work on that first.
First thing in the morning, it's so important. You can refer to you don't have to do this, you did it on the back, the examples of stuff, this, I think I'm running out. We talked about procedures versus rules, classroom management's not discipline, non-examples of them. We talked about non-examples, right, of procedures. Yeah. Oh, wow, I got really great. Here's 3 steps to teaching procedures. Teach it, state it, explain it, model, rehearse it, reinforce it. Just like we did about raising the hand, okay? When they begin teaching procedures, don't expect them to all know it in day one. Please don't. They're not going to. They'll be lucky to know it by Christmas. But you want to go those first 2 weeks and really reinforce them, keep doing that. It'll be so much better for you, I'm telling you. Effective teachers spend a good deal of time during the first weeks of school introducing, teaching, modeling, rehearsing procedures. The reason is starting the class, quieting the class, seeking assistance. First part of each day, when class starts, is to get students to work. That's so important. You mentioned about their work. So much time is lost at the beginning of the class period if you don't use that first 10 minutes. You don't need to take 10 minutes to take them roll. You can do it another way. You don't have to call out their names. It's so vital, that first part of the day, that morning class. That if 10 minutes are wasted, in 6 periods of the day, equates to an hour a day that these kids have lost in instruction time. Think about that. If you go for 6 class periods and you lose 10 minutes a day, you lost an hour of the instructional time that day. Provide a framework, do that agenda. Have it set up there that they know what's going on, so when they come in, they know where they're at. They know what the next step is. Know the agenda. If you have an agenda set up, you know what's going on, they know what's going on. It's like me having a PowerPoint. I'm not looking at it just keeps me online. I know where they need to go, I know what's coming up next. If you post it, if you do an agenda, and I would do one. If you don't, make sure you do one. Post it, have the same format, put it in the same location, the same method. This is what we do first, next. So they'll know the routine and you'll know the routine. It'll become a procedure. Have an agenda. This is what we do. This is what we're doing. Bill work. We're doing this. Whatever it is, if it's lab work. If you don't have an agenda, kids come in and ask these types of questions. We're going to see a video today. Or you're going to let us study today? Have a study break? Or, are we going to do anything today? I love that question. I missed yesterday. Did we do anything important while I was gone? If you had an agenda, those questions get eliminated. You say, here's the agenda. This is what we did. 3 parts of it. Schedule. This is what we do in each day. First 10 minutes of the day, we do our starter or bell work, or first 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes to review it. If you have it timed so it keeps you on track. Opening assignment, the bell work, the DOLs, the warm-ups, objectives. No, Miss Francis, I called on her, but it's just proven that from experience, it works, doesn't it? I mean, you said it. She laughed at me. My favorite one, I don't know, but it works. It really works. And no, I didn't go and ask her to say that. She said that on her own. Assignments. Post the assignments before students enter the room. There's nothing worse than coming in and saying, oh, what are we doing today? Post it in the same location every day so they know. Keep bell work simple. When you come in, all really I'm going to do with bell work now. Miss Francis, get mad at me over here. All I want to do bell work is get you in the mood to start today. Come on in. I don't want to have to call you down. Come in, get you settled down. We're doing this. I'm not worried about a grade on it. Yeah, they are. I don't have to tell them I'm not grading it. Because if you tell them I'm not grading it, they ain't going to do it. I mean, that's true, right? You say, put it in bell work. If you give 1,000 points for it, I don't care. I'm the one that does the grades anyway. You can compute it to make it whatever it's worth. But have them come in and do it. Get in the routine to sit down. That way I can take attendance. They're getting ready, and we can prepare for the agenda. Well, what's on the agenda? There's a lot of ways you can do that open and silent. You can use PowerPoint slides, whiteboards, bulletin boards, document cameras, Swift charts. You can distribute it as the kids walk into class. Whatever works for you, but the main thing, if you remember back, be consistent about it. Because if you're consistent, that becomes a effective teacher. Well, we already done this. You should know what our procedures are for now. I tried to rush through the last little bit. That was their objective today, was to identify some procedures and why they're important. Did I get it done in time? What was done? What I want you all to do is just enjoy teaching. Okay? If you don't do anything, enjoy it. I mean, for God's sake, please don't go in the classroom and be hateful to the kids. I'll be honest with you. I don't care if you know, I don't care if you're a Rhodes Scholar. If you made a 36 on every ACT test you took, you're Albert Einstein's son. I don't care who you are. If you're not good and good-hearted, then please leave. I'd rather have a good-hearted teacher that wants to learn and wants their students to learn than have some egghead come in to teach them.
Hey, I've heard Chloe say they don't care how much you know until they know how much
You
you
do
care.
care. Amen.
So,
That's exactly right. Okay. And that's why you're here today. You're here today to get better so you can produce better students. There's nothing better than coming back and having students and say, "Oh, Mrs. Butcher, I had you, and so you were my favorite teacher." Yeah, I want them to like me. But I like it when they come back and say, "You taught me this, or you're the one that taught me how to read." Wow. That's powerful. I'm going to leave on that, okay? I enjoy you all so much. My worst wishes for you is you would get so much knowledge today that you can't wait to go in and start working on your learning right now. So that's my worst wishes for you, okay? I enjoy it. You've got the all-star cast coming up. See, they put me up first, so that way I strike out, you got some others coming up and do a wonderful job, okay? So I appreciate you all so much. I'm going to take this microphone off while we driving down the... Thank you.